I hope all is doing well, guys. And I am enormously appreciative of you watching our videos. But yeah, I see a big fun movement out there that is finally bringing truth, higher awareness to this planet. Excited about that. Let me see. Let's just keep doing Q&A. Maybe after the first of the year we'll get a lot more creative here. But these are good videos to learn what you do when you're working not only with yourself but on others as well, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes I don't remember them and you guys bring them out. Like yesterday, I read so many good questions that you guys had, and some things I thought, well, you know what, I forgot to bring that out. So that's what's a benefit about this, is that when you're seeing people and you want to know what to do with that case, you know, someone's got to have a case on here like that or similar to that, and it's very helpful. But remember, in all cases, what system you're really after. And it seems like, you know, you're going to hear this, oh, they just think about the lymph system, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But keep it simple, because that one system is reaching everywhere in the human body and literally destroying it when that system isn't getting rid of your acids from your cells. And so, very important to look at that system and understand that, the eliminative organs to that system are the kidneys and the skin. Medical thinking hasn't got there yet, but you guys have already proved it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. As soon as your kidneys start filtering, you start to see your tumors go away. As soon as the kidneys start filtering, you start to see your pain go away. Some of you struggle to get the kidneys, and I can only think that the differences is the genetic level of consciousness of each kidney, the condition of the adrenal glands in terms of tripping the kidneys, the level of acidosis within the kidney tissue itself, and the amount of depending on the type of diet the individual had. Good example, those of you that have high protein diets are damaging your kidneys at a far rapid rate, or more rapid rate, than someone that is just doing your starches or your carbohydrates. Proteins is real rough on the human body, and you're seeing it everywhere in your face. Virals are proteins. I read you Science News where you get into different proteins causing the problem, and Alzheimer's blamed on proteins, or amyloid plaque, which is, you know, proteins. And so you start to see a common denominator that is of the acid side of chemistry that is in our face that is problematic, and the word is proteins. And this has been taught in natural hygiene for 200 years. You know, is that the protein material is not suited for man, and obviously not suited for bears, because even the big old grizzly bears only has about 7 to 10% of their diet is meat or protein. So interesting. Now, let's see what we got on. Oh, this is Jure, Jure. Hi, Dr. Morse. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on the Master Fast program by Gino? As I understand, it is a combination of pasteurized grape juice mixed with lemon juice fasting with herbs and some days of dry fasting. A lot of it is based on your work. You know, I would say that I don't see a problem with that, except that I would never recommend pasteurized grape juice. And he might have a reason that he's recommending that, but I would never recommend pasteurized anything, especially your fruits. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do it raw. I've heard different reasons why, but I don't agree with any of that. I really like that program, though. This is a good program that Gino's doing. You know, when grapes and lemon juice, for some reason, those two combinations in a long-term fast can benefit a lot. I've given you some cases here of what we've seen clean up. Just wow, you know, just the wow factor. You know, so it is a good fast, and interject some dry fasting in there is a good idea as well, because that will then allow those kidneys. It seems like that dry fasting just helps to jar those kidneys to filter. I don't know what it is. We'll know one of these days as you guys think it out and you more science-minded people get involved. Supposedly they get unbelievable kidney filtration, which it would. This would be one of the better ways to get kidney filtration because, first of all, these are astringent fruit. Of course, lemons are very astringent, and of course, the dry fasting side of that. So I would think this is an excellent way to get kidney filtration too. And a lot of mucoid plaque release. Yep. But that's how you do it. You use your grapes, you use your lemons, you use your fruits that are astringent. And they clean you. And they hydrate you, too. Remember that. This is part of cleansing is not just astringing, it's also hydrating. And so that brings that accumulation, that coagulation of acids that dehydrate you, burn your electrolytes up, and then, hydrates that. Brings that into a balance. That plasma energy is created when you mix the cooked grape juice with the fresh lemon. I don't know about that. I don't think that's a natural way of thinking that. The plasma energy, I would think it would be better to have the plasma energy unite at a raw level as opposed to a cooked level, because in a cooked level, uniting of that wouldn't be as much because you're creating a gomulation. You're creating a cationic environment or a chemical menstruum, which would then not be so much of a energetic sharing. Matter of fact, one of the first things you lose when you pasteurize is your magnetic energy. See, that's now grape juice. I don't know how much grape juice loses, but take a look at this. Broccoli can give off about, let's just use the word angstrom just for the heck of it, or magnetic or energetic frequencies or whatever. But just use the word angstrom for a minute, and assume a piece of broccoli growing in a garden gives off about 9,000 angstroms of energy. Now, if you took that broccoli into the kitchen, cut it up, and cooked it down, the electromagnetic energy dissipates to around 1,000. 9,000 down to 1,000. Well, think about it. That's a considerable amount of energy loss. With a piece of meat living, I don't know what its angstroms are, but if you give a human, a fairly normal sick human, means a normal human walking on the street, it's about 6,500 angstroms of energy, or I'd say 6,000 to 6,500. They claim that a cancer patient or someone that's real sick, that magnetic energy starts to slide down toward the 5. Now, I don't know how low it can be till you leave the body, that the body can't sustain your energetic presence for that to happen. But when you take a look at that, interject this thinking that we're talking about right now with the law of homeostasis. So let's say that I'm a raw foodist. I'm vibrating at more like 8,000 angstroms of energy instead of you at 6,500 units of energy. I have a lot more energy than you do. I vibrate a lot more with that because I eat it, I channel it, blah, 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 right? But if I started associating and eating and everything I'm dealing with low energy, and I didn't know how to maintain my energy through my bodies, consciousness-wise, then I would be pulled down like everybody else like that. You'd be pulled down to these lower levels of energy through the law of physics of homeostasis. So when you have a wheel here spinning 100 mile an hour and you have a wheel here spinning 10 mile an hour, right? And you put those together, this 100 mile an hour wheel is going to slow down, obviously, because you just interjected something that's only going 10 mile an hour. So I'm going to slow this way down, but I'm also going to speed this one way up. And I'm going to end up them both doing the same. That's the law of physics, law of homeostasis, so to speak. So think about that in regards to consuming always cooked food, and your frequencies levels are way down. So if you want an energetic stance to this, talking about plasma, and an energetic stance to that, you wouldn't be mixing pasteurized. That has no chemical. That only serves to reduce the energetic sharing of that food source. So I disagree with that side of that. We use the raw grapes and the lemons, and I've used those for 40 some years, and they just do such good work. I'm very well known for giving people 40-day grape fasts. I've made a lot of people do 40-day grape fasts before. But that's where we got our reputation, is because I ran my people strict and straight on, and they won the day. They won the day. And that's what you have to do. You got to keep yourself focused to win the day, especially if you're in wheelchairs. Which reminds me, I want to know who this is. Look at this. This is neat. And this is royal costume in Korea that the kings wore. Look at that. Is that not too cool? And look at this. This is a dollar bill. But look at this. Isn't that cool? Yep, this is cool. And beautiful, beautiful note in here too. And this is Sue. Thank you, Sue. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yep. And she's in a wheelchair. And I want to know who she is. Hey. So, Sue, send me your Gupa so I can help you. I want you out of that chair too. I want to know why you're in that chair and what's going on with that. Okay. So that's what I think about that. To me, there's nothing more powerful than the raw. And there's biochemist theories. Look at Bedwick. How stupid. You know what? So many people have fell prey to the Bedwick program and then watched their tumors grow with cottage cheese. I've never seen some ignorant biochemist in my life. I heard a lot of people. And this Beatrice. Hey, Beatrice, honey. Hello, Dr. Morse. You helped my daughter, Ocean. Oh, yeah, Ocean. I love that name. That invokes visions of the infinite. When you look out over the ocean, there's just nothing to block your view. It just allows your mind to just and consciousness just to expand. You know, I've been up in the Alps and it's just the opposite. I thought it would be different on me, but it wasn't. It felt way too claustrophobic for me. I would much rather be on a white sand beach overlooking the ocean than up in the Himalayas or the Alps. It's just really claustrophobic and very mineral and very, I don't know what to say about it. For me, just for me. Her eczema is now only on arms and legs and going through the waves you were talking about. Yeah, up and down. Just seen it for years, you know, that sort of thing. But don't give up, sweetheart, because the ocean will be clear, and the most important thing is that her lymphatic system will be fixed. I mean, it isn't just about psoriasis and things like this. It's what else that goes into. Because remember, you're holding acids around all your cells. And you can imagine years of that just does not do well on the cells. That's how you get genetic weaknesses. And once you start creating weaknesses, they just multiply like crazy down the line, you know. So good work on your daughter here, but keep going until she's so clean and green, and she doesn't have a skin ring around her eye at all. There is purple color to her skin and yellow sticky stuff coming out of her pores. Yeah. Could be sulfur. I don't have her eyes, but it could be sulfur. You know, if you get yellow, orangey stuff, it smells like eggs, and so that's sulfur. But in due respect, some of these synthetic vitamins and minerals have an orange color to them too, or B's, and you'll get that crap out of there too after years on B vitamins. That's why you don't want to do anything synthetic. You always want to do natural. You don't need to supplement, because why do you need to supplement? Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. That's the way of the world, the way of life. Every other creature and species adheres to that law. She is happier about the process and very determined. Good. Good, 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 good. I forgot how old Ocean is. She has also no period yet. Oh, age 14. Oh, wow. She's 14 and a half. Well, okay. So that's where you want to start. What do you think, ladies, after listening to these videos? What might you think Ocean might want to think about? I would think so, too. So this is what I would do. I would probably put Ocean on the endocrine gland formula, but it might not hurt her to put her on the female reproductive formula. Even at her age, tone her up a little bit, but what gland are we going after with her? Pituitary. And you want to think about this, because if she's late having menses, that means she could have irregular menses off and on. That would be pituitary. That also can affect her growth at 14 and a half years old, stunt her height, have her have very unpleasant experiences with her monthly cycles. So, yeah, you want to take a look at Ocean's pituitary there, and if you suspect anything like that, look at her eyes. And you might want to give her a little endocrine gland formula, and maybe, let her go through a half a bottle or something, or a bottle of a female reproductive. It's not an estrogenic formula, so it's not going to be anything like that. But it is a toning formula for the ovaries, the uterus, and the pituitary. And that's important. So you might want to think about that one. I am giving her all gland herb. I don't even have to talk anymore. You guys are so smart. Dang, I love you guys. I mean, this is what it is. You guys are getting good healers. You guys are getting it. And I tell you, there's few healers on the rock that gets it. Ha, ha, ha. So, I love you guys. It's incredible. Yep, this is exactly what you're doing. Exactly what you're doing. Anything else I can do. Think about her kidneys and adrenal glands, because at 14 and a half, she's got some involvement there. It's just, and if she didn't, which would be as rare as winning the lotto, you could help her out with that, the adrenals and the kidneys. And at 14 and a half, put her on like the Fab Four. Kidney, adrenals, you could do one lymphatic, and maybe a stomach and bowel formula or something. Just clean her out a little bit, because that's where you're going anyway, is to get her cleaned up, get all this right. I think she's on herbs anyway. BTW, my 18-year-old son and I are also on the raw herbs. Wow, man. And getting nasty stuff out of us daily. We love you and are grateful. I know, oh, man. If people only knew. We should do a show on Discover. I hope they come in here like this. We were told, but we don't know. But if they do, wouldn't it be cool to do a show? Not the monsters within you, the nasty stuff within you. I'm telling you, if they ever come in, some of you keep your picks. They might want to interview some of you guys about what you're getting out of you. Because, I mean, there's some gnarly stuff out there that builds up in people. You can imagine, food processing and all the putrefaction and dead tissue and all that, and building up in the body. And that's why I say for the females, use the Heal All Tea, douche one time a night for 2 weeks, and see what you see coming out. I've seen young ladies in their 20s get nasty looking stuff out that they couldn't even believe. So you want to do that, and it'll also help to tone the vaginal wall and turn any atypical cells you might be unaware of around. So it's just a really good tea to do that. That's why I made that tea for the females. And this is from Teresa. Hey, Teresa. Dear Dr. Morse, I first want to say thank you for all the work you do from your spirit and transitioning to beautiful spirits and awakening spirits. Thanks, my dear one. I love you. Thank you. Well, isn't it fun to have a bunch of like-minded people that are elevated in their awareness, so we don't sit and have idle conversation of stuff that doesn't go anywhere, doesn't mean anything? Yeah, I like good conversations. Things that have meaning to them, like how do you take someone in a wheelchair and get them out of it, or how do you cruise the God worlds? Now those are meaningful conversations to me. But thank you, love. Thank you. I have a question regarding discoloration of my lips. Ooh. Ooh. All right. 2 years ago. 2 years of having problems initially with my bottom lip chapping and then peeling, and would use natural base lip balms. See, yeah. Now I have a dark line that with pink acid looking discoloration. Yep. Towards the inside of my lip. I have been eating fruits and 110% cooked with your kit. Any advice to help? I think that's a pretty good, I think your diet's pretty good there. I think you're on the right road of detoxification. There was they sold this in health food stores, this chlorophyll underarm deodorant. And I carried that. I think I had that years ago in my health food stores, but I would use it years ago. And it would stain green. So, you got to be careful what you use. Some products look good for the lips. There's some good products out there for the lips and stuff. I'm real careful what I make in our salves and stuff like that. I should make something nice for the lips to heal that and stuff. But the problem with that is when you have dry lips, that's a first sign that you're developing acids in your mouth. Get a dry mouth, dry lips, cracking, that shows your mouth is acidic. Whoa. I mean, all you have to do is go buy pH papers and check it for yourself to show you. All right? Now, you're going to lose your teeth, your gums are going to recede, abscesses are going to come in if you don't clean the mouth. That's what it does. Dentists have been ignorant of the lymph system as well, and so they blame bacterium for man's problems, just like the medical doctor is like, excuse me, when are you guys going to grow up? Well, I have a great dentist who now understands it's the acids that are breaking down the gum. Of course it's the acids. Now, bacteria loves to break down acids, and that's why you have bacteria in your lymph nodes. They don't chew up your lymph nodes. I mean, it's just ridiculous thinking. And it's just when you're lost and too mental, then you lose the simplicity of truth. Truth sometimes is as simple as you can get. Doesn't make it any less powerful. Matter of fact, truth is much more powerful. So I mean, you could use some Hilal tea, in a cup and kind of put your lips in there and hold it. There is a little plantain to draw, marshmallow slippery elm to heal, but you know what I'm going to say, that to fix the whole reason you were using lip balm in the first place probably is to get into your lymphatic system and fix that. That's your kidneys, adrenals, skin, lymph system, lymph nodes, clean up the GI tract as well. Get everything moving out of here because you don't want to have trouble in the future. And then, of course, if you don't get the acids out, you could pop basal cells on the face. So you want to get that out of there too. And so I would do that. I think if you did the little Hilal tea and maybe even a gauze and maybe a little towel and hold it on there and see if you can draw some of that out of there. You could try that. But internally, the lymph system would be the system that would have to pull any chemistry that was in those lip balms that didn't go anywhere. And that's another problem you have to think about. When your lymphatic system is stagnant and you're not filtering anymore from the kidneys or minimally, then things are going to stay in your body. Chemistry is not going to come out. That's why we see so much sulfur in people. Chemistry is not going to come out like it should. It's going to stay in you. And that's a problem with mercuries and aluminums and all these type of neurotoxic metals. They're going to stay in you and then create some problems. So detoxification always has to be a lymphatic experience, and it'll clean the blood with it. Blood's easy to clean. It's the lymphatic system that's the big deal. Remember, 80% interstitial fluid is the lymph fluid. It's like, whoa. So I think you're on the right track, but that's what I would be doing, is working with that way. And then if you needed to use a natural lip balm, look at the some products, central oil products, stuff like that. But whatever you use, you know that And so even why I'm a little cautious with castor oil packs when we have hard tumors is that we already have a problem moving fluid. Adding more fluid is dangerous, and that's like in lung cancers. You have to be careful about juicing because their lungs can fill up. And if you have a case of lung cancer you're working on and the lungs keep filling up, you can stop it. They don't have to spray it, but they still might have to go through some thoracentesis, still might have to have some aspiration of the lungs, but you keep them off of juices. You just have them eat. You know, if people are swelling up with edema, you don't give them juices. That's too much liquid. And they don't need to have all the water and everything else too. You want to slow that down a little bit after you go after the kidneys to get the kidneys to start breaking loose and getting all this edema out of them. So it is all a reflection of acidosis. It's all a reflection of lymph stagnation, that sort of thing. And once man gets it, he'll realize how simple his health issues are, and the economics around all that will drastically change. The only body making money is those doing the harm. The poor folk are losing all their money and not getting any remedy on top of it. How bad is that? To have a health modality take all your money, put you in poverty or into bankruptcy, which I've seen over and over and over again, and still couldn't help you or fix you. And man's accepted that as some type of valid experience. I think we need to wake up to some of these things we've accepted just because it's been in our face for so long. That's what I do. Good job, honey. But that's what I would do. Let's see here. Oh, Miguel. Hi, I'm a 46-year-old male and level 1 graduate who just started filtering after 11 months. Holy crap, Miguel, my God. After 11 months? Holy crap. In kidney, adrenals, and other protocols. I'm very thankful for that. But after I mean, that's a long time to wait to start filtering. That's why I think these dry fasts definitely have some good validity to them, even though you might not see as much coming when you're not dry fasting. Okay, but you're starting now. You're starting to hit that and bump that kidney and get that power of the body to get that open. And hydration has a lot to do with it. And, you know, there's all these other things that have a lot to do with it. The adrenals, like you said, man, have a lot to do with it. So, good job, but 11 months. Isn't that horrible? If this man had been full of cancer, he might not have been around anymore, right? See, that's the problem we face. There's some scary thoughts out there too when we're dealing in people. You know, some people, you just can't save them. They've allowed their body to become a rock, and you know, you get wave magic wands over people. So everybody does the best they can to get you hydrated and doors opened and these tumors reduced and everything before they choke off something vital and get you. So, I mean, everybody does their very best to do these things. I know that. I'm very thankful for that and for you and your wonderful, oh, thanks, man. And look forward for the level 2 certificate once available in DVDs. Oh, thanks. Now, that should be coming out. I don't know. I have to check on that. I'm glad you brought that up. Christmas things have been a little slow around here. Christmas people are busy and doing their Christmas stuff, and so we have staff in and out, and so. But I'm interested to see where that is because we need our level 2 out, and then we have our iridology we filmed. So I'd like to have that out because that's a good class for you guys to learn iridology too. Now, one area that hasn't changed for me yet, however, is I still notice that I get brain fog when outdoor in the heat while in the shade. I still notice that I get brain fogged when outdoor in the heat while in the shade. However, when sunlight hits me directly, no shade, I feel a bit more awake, just as if I were indoors with the AC. Well, that's interesting. I would think that you would have the same experience in the shade as you would have indoors, and that getting out into the sun, of course, is full spectrum lighting, so that's going to turn you on, because even me, man, I get in the air. I don't like too much air conditioning. I'm an outdoor kind of boy, so I really love the sun. I really love to get out in the sun and just let it bathe me and heal me. And no sunglasses, guys. Don't use sunglasses. Allow that full spectrum lighting in. If you have to, get used to it. I don't recommend sun gazing either. I've had cases where people have scarred their eyes from sun gazing, and I've had to fix that. So that's exciting, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it has things to do with acidosis, but then it doesn't, because when you get out in the sun, you get a kick on that. You feel good about that. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that. I have to think about that one. Do you have any suggestions for this weird? Yeah. Oh, wow. As to why this can be happening and how to get rid of it besides drinking double shot espresso every time. Holy crap. Note, I'm not doing it I figured that. Yeah. Interesting. What do you guys think? So when he goes out in the sun, it feels good, but he goes in the shade, he gets some weird feelings. Just going into the shade. I wanted, it sounds a lot neurological to me. So I would do upper circ, of course, in brain and nerve, and start increasing my nervous system. I would also get into my neurotransmitters, which is the adrenal glands, and start going that route. I'd be doing those things. Of course, then I'd be detoxifying the acids out of my body like you're doing, but you just got your kidneys filtering. So maybe there's something going on there, and once you get something out of you, then again, you never know. Some chemistry in your head might be doing this, affecting the CNS. I don't know. Hard to say. That's the thing. We tread in a lot of toxic areas on this planet. Who knows? So it could be any of those things. It could be an endocrine gland issue. So when you don't know something like that, you just make healthy that which is. That's all you can do. You just clean out and rebuild. Clean and strengthen, clean and strengthen. And it always gets it. Always does. So if you don't always know something, and you don't always have to figure something out, because you can't always do that. There's too many variables sometimes. But if you always detoxify, using the regenerative detoxification method here, you always get it. It just always does that. I've had cases that couldn't figure them out why the symptom came from. At least we're better than the MDs at doing that. But still, it's like, oh, God, I don't know. And you detoxify, it clears it up. But that's important to know, too, that sometimes you can't always know it all. Okay. But you know that when you start moving, cleaning the body, you're cleaning and rebuilding it naturally. It's a natural process. And by doing that, that'll eliminate any weird stuff that's going on from either neurotransmitter attachment. You never know. You could have had some mercury and neurotransmitter. You could have stuff like that. And so when you get in the sun, it just ignites and turns on. Feel good. Get out of the sun. That little loss of energy or whatever pulls you into something. Definitely sounds neurological. But I don't know. Anybody, you got an idea, let me know. But I would go down that line of cleaning and rebuilding, and I'll get rid of it. It does every time. Every case I've ever had, or weird stuff I couldn't figure out. Katrina. Hi, Dr. Morse. I have what has been diagnosed as misophonia, an emotional reaction to sound. No kidding. Interesting. Huh. Have had it since I was 10 years old, and I was very negative impact on my life. Oh my God, I never heard of this. After listening to your amazing stuff and seeing the connection between diet and anxiety, oh yeah, and misophonia, do you think it would disappear? Oh no, I definitely do. And what's interesting to me is there any type of music? Is it a particular type? Is it just sound, frequencies? That would definitely have to pick up the nervous system there, which means your adrenal glands would be involved, and the myelin sheaths would be involved. Yeah. So, by strengthening that, it's funny, when things are weaker, they're more sensitive and prone to things like this. sound increases spasticity and stuff like this. And of course, all that happens under acidic sky because things get very sensitive when you're highly acidic. You can create a spasm or convulsion really quick sometimes. I get a cramp. Things like that. So, wow. But I would definitely detoxify, of course, and get into my adrenal glands, get into my neurotransmitters in the adrenals, and get my myelin sheaths, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. That's interesting. And it would be interesting if any type of music had more of a profound effect, because discordant music, generally as a rule, is neurologically discordant. The grunge and stuff like this. Even I hate to say it, guys, forgive me, but the heavy rock stuff, very discordant, breaks up thought patterns, and you could use music to navigate yourself in breaking up thoughts that I have an open window, so I get to see everybody that goes by. I appreciate that, Katrina. But this is interesting stuff. Do you think it would appear if I went on? Oh yeah. Matter of fact, why don't you get a picture of your eyes, honey, and take a look at that? See if you see any nerve rings. What's the condition of your adrenal glands? See if you see anything unusual. Be real curious, wouldn't it? I think everybody would really like to know. Oh, wait a minute. I also have varicose veins, one removed, which I now realize is a mistake. Yeah. I am currently doing a grape juice diet. 5 days. Oh, this girl's kicking butt. All right, now, whoa, we got something going on here, don't we? All right, let's think about this. All right. We've got a parathyroid weakness, don't we? We've got varicose veins, varicose veins. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So we have varicose veins, we have a parathyroid problem, and we have an acidosis problem, right? Okay, so thinking about all what calcium's good for, we know it strengthens bones, creates bone matrix with phosphorus. We know it's connective tissue. Do we know it's nerve transmission? Involved in nerve transmission? So what's interesting there is that this possible sound issue could be linked to the parathyroid and the adrenals. Having low neurotransmitters, a low myelin sheath, especially if you see nerve rings in there, then you've got that low calcium utilization, which would then make you more prone to spasticity. So when you had certain vibrational frequencies, it could create a spasm or an ill feeling through the nervous system. Absolutely could. Could affect the solar plexus brain. It could affect the central nervous brain. Interesting. So what would be another interesting take is, does this person have a pituitary sitting on top of these other ones? See what I'm saying? It gets interesting when we start tearing apart, and when people give you a little more information, because sometimes when you just give me some information, it goes, but when more information starts coming in, then we can say, oh, look, we can correlate and might even help. So that actually helps a little more to put a piece of that puzzle together, because we can understand that if you're not utilizing calcium properly, you're getting the herniated vascular walls. That could lend itself to sensitivity to frequencies, especially if the adrenals are down too, which you know they're going to be. So I want you to pay a particular attention to that, because you might have to work on your pituitary and parathyroid together. You can do a parathyroid, try this, just do the parathyroid, 50 milligrams, do 1 or 2 tabs 2 or 3 times a day. Definitely do that though with a program where you're doing the endocrine glands, you're doing the adrenals, you're doing the kidney, you're doing, let's say, a lymphatic one, and and maybe a GI tract one. You're doing some things with that, maybe brain, upper circuit, and brain and nerve. You're doing a little package of things, and you get rid of your parasites too, because they're going to be dancing in you to that music. See, so you want to really kind of get all that going, and I think you'll be fine with that. I think that parathyroid adrenal connection, let us know how you do with that and if that does the trick. But I'm kind of thinking that would affect the nervous system, and, at a certain level of vulnerability, you could see spasticity and weird feelings with that. Interesting stuff. Emotional reactions with that. Interesting stuff. So we want to be able to hear the future of some of these that are working with these and see how they come out with that too. So we want to send us your testimonials too. All of us want to know how you're doing, you know. Andre. Hey there, Dr. Morse. How are you? I'm fine, Andre. How are you, my dear one? It's a 24-year-old male here, living in Melbourne, Australia. I am studying nursing and considering studying natural medicine instead, as I am increasingly getting turned off Western medicine from what I am learning. Good man. You know, don't waste your time, because they have to change. We will force a change on this planet, not physically, just because we're bringing truth, and people are hungry for truth. Look at the suffering out here. I mean, the suffering is astronomical out here, and it's like, holy moly. So this world needs help in a really, really bad way, man, and people like you are good candidates for this. You've got a heart for this. You're going to go into nursing or holistic medicine. I would go into natural medicine, and I would really get into this level of work, because you won't be happy at any other level, be honest with you. You want to feel good when you take a person in a wheelchair and get them walking. You want to feel good when a person was near death with tumors in them and now they have a life to live. You want to feel good when someone's been bedridden in pain all their lives, in chronic pain, and you got them out of bed and have a life again. That's rewarding. Treating symptoms in nursing and medical is not rewarding. That's why they're probably 400 or 500 members strong now. That's why we have a holistic nursing association right up in Sarasota. Oh, she's ready to talk. Oh, okay. All right, is she on the line now?
Not yet. I'm going to get her connected when you're ready.
Okay, let me do that. I will close here. I want to go to lunch anyway, and then I want to talk to her. Okay. Yeah. Good idea. Okay. And Jennifer told me you're going to be my personal assistant. Good deal. I love that. Good deal. Good. Oh, yeah, I love that.
I think we're going to be a great team.
I think it's going to work. We're good.
Tell Chris to edit that out.
Oh, I don't care. They know I'm active. I'm busy. Yeah. Thanks, sweetie. Thank you. I'll be right.
Okay.
I think that would be a smart idea. Rewarding to the self. Because we have in Sarasota up here, like I said, about a 400-member nursing association, and they are, if I could give them all jobs, I would. If I could get them out there and get them all jobs, I would, because I love nurses. I think the nurses that don't think they know everything, let me qualify that, because you have two types of nurses out there. And an RN is only 2 years of school, remember? And you've got some RNs in this town that just think they know everything. They know everything. I saw one of them walking around Home Depot with her stethoscope on the other day, and I'm going, are you kidding? So all I can say is that nurses are great, but make great healers, because they're nurses. They love people, and they love working with people. Now, there's some nurses that probably don't, but I'm saying for the most part, this is a good field, because they're, men and women, they're feminine. The men have the hearts. Male males make tough nurses. Feminine males make great nurses. And you guys would make great. This is the thing I would get into, and learn this level of how you regenerate tissue. And you will really be happy. And you won't spend so much money and time going to school learning bogus theories. I'm just saying. Get your herbology degree and stuff like that, because the future is herbs. It's not going to be pharmaceuticals. The blowback's going to hit them. And I just, So, herbs. Herbs is the future. And learn a little bit about them, so you can learn about them and use them, and why I use the herbs I use, and why we're focusing on the tissues in the body that we're focusing on. But it becomes simple when you realize that the body's divided up into systems, and we're after systems. This is good stuff, man. I really am for you there. Areas of nursing that you recommend. Well, I'm a cardiac thinker, but nursing, the problem with it's all the same. You can't really express yourselves and help people in the hospital well. I did as much as I could being a naturopath in a hospital. because they really don't want you there. I mean, and I wasn't there as a naturopath, by the way. So it's its own system, and anybody worked in a hospital for a while knows what that's about. But I would start healing people, man. Nursing, it's another level. I would get into being a healer. Or do you advise that I follow my instinct and get into the natural health side? I advise you follow your instinct. That's your spiritual side. And as a bachelor degree of health, that's plenty. That's all you need. Who cares? Herbology. Forget naturopathy. It's too controversial around the world. Medical doctors have tainted that by creating naturopathic schools and calling it naturopathic medicine. So then that's a bunch of crap. Naturopathy, of course, absolutely. But you don't see naturopathy taught anywhere. And I love naturopathy. Naturopathy is actually the science of nature, which would include what? All sciences. Absolutely. But not as the way man teaches. See, if you go into chemistry, you enter the world of theories. A lot of these chemists, they don't even know what's up in chemistry. Isn't that amazing? And yet they're chemists. What are your thoughts? My thoughts is you be a natural healer, get your herbal degree. It's quicker. There's a Australian herbal college or something. I think there's a good herbal college in Australia, by the way. I've got their stuff here. I think I joined it. Maybe I completed that one. I don't know. I completed a lot of herbal courses. I don't know where they all are. They're on the walls around here somewhere. But I want to talk to this one lady. I think her son went into the hospital, and I think they killed him. I mean, some people don't come out of hospitals, and it's just they just got to get this antibiotic thing. And this is just like this gentleman the other day, where he went to the hospital because he was feeling a little tired and weak, and he was filtering. He had just started filtering. His kidneys were full of sediment, and it was excellent. They thought he had a major infection. Put him in the ICU, put him on antibiotics, and he died. What? I see that all the time. Makes you sick. Okay.
She's
All
on Marcy.
All right, I'm ready to rock. Is she on here?
I don't know. I have her on there, so I got her connected on Marcy's. Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll go to Marcy's. I think instead of going to lunch, I'll close this video out so it's not so long. And then when I get back from lunch, I'll start another one. So I hope I'm not doing too many videos for you, but I need to catch up. So I'll do one more, and we'll close with this one more. And it says, this is Anna. Hi, Anna. It says, hi, I was wondering what blood cleansing means from your point of view. Interesting. Probably an herbal formula with red clover, getting after the kidneys, cleaning up the spleen, the liver, getting on a fruit, berry, and melon diet, which chemistry matches the blood pretty easily, pretty good right there. And just in that way. Cleaning up the lymph system then can clean up the blood. And cleaning up the lymphatic organs, kidneys, spleen, will help to do that. Getting the liver cleaned out, that sort of thing. The adrenals, all that implies, hemoglobin, iron, all these indirectly are touched through adrenal steroids, at least the iron and some other things. So, this is how I would go after blood cleansing. Now, see how you think. Of course, in dialysis, they bleach, what all is it? Let's see here. I remember hearing Dr. Morse mention in his videos that cleansing the blood is easy. It is easy at the same time, but you have to clean the organs of the blood as well, wouldn't you think? I understand that when the blood gets dirty, you are done. Dirty meaning acidic. Acidic. When you're eating foods that that are cooked and tend to be more acid forming, what you start to see, even that slight shift of pH of the blood, your red blood cells will start following each other like choo-choo trains, or clustering. That's not good, but that's what most people are like. When you do live blood cell analysis, you see stuff like that. And so, I use herbs to clean, and that includes parasitically. And of course, when you're looking at the organs of the blood, the spleen is a major organ of the blood, and lymph, because that's, again, how the blood cleans itself into the lymph. And we talked about that yesterday on a video. And cleaning the spleen is a good idea. But the lymph system has to be dealt with as well, because they're interstitially bumping together. And they bump in the kidneys, they bump in the spleen. So you wanna clean your lymphatic system as well as your blood. Because notice that when your kidneys aren't filtering and you end up on dialysis, they don't clean your lymph system. Oh no, they don't know how to, which, problematic, but they clean your blood, but through a machine. Yeah. Ooh. I have tried to Google it, but whenever it comes up, discusses removing the toxins from the blood, which is the task of the lymphatic system, I do not read further. Yeah, not too much out there. Really, not too much out there. But remember the organs of the blood. Want to clean everything up. And clean the sewer system up, because there's the blowback, right? And then, of course, watch what type of fuel you're burning. You'll be better off if you burn a cooked vegetable than a dead animal. I'm just saying. Because different food sources, if you could use that word for different foods that we eat, have different residues when you break them down. Some are dirty residues, like dead animal meat, and dairy products leave dirty residues. But they also leave a lot of mucus from the body not wanting that chemistry in it. So you got that to deal with as well. Could you please explain about blood cleansing? Thanks, Anna. Absolutely. But red clover, we have a blood formula. I don't use it a lot because, going on a raw diet and cleaning up the lymph system, everything cleans up beautifully. I've said this many times before on our program, this is easy to clean up the blood. Matter of fact, I can have someone with raging, let's use the medical terminology of cancer, but really a raging tumor and a lot of acidosis burning them up quick. Yet the blood can look beautiful. For the most part, You're going to get some protein or antigen spillovers, but that's what we look for in your cancer markers. But in reality, it's easy to clean up the blood, but red clover is a great blood cleanser, and it's also, as most herbs are, it is also crosses over and cleans the lymph system, good for tumors. Red clover is a really good herb. A lot of iron. I can read one more, I guess, can't I? Dr. Morse, thank you. After being vegetarian for 11 years, 100% organic, and vegan for 4 years, and 90% raw food for nearly 3 years, I feel I have reached a certain sensitivity, which has both positives, and negatives, Oh no. There is the negative side of health, and that is the sensitivities. As this, who is this? This is Oli. There's sensitivities that make it difficult sometimes to interact with life here. This life here on this planet has gotten so toxic. The pollution's so acidic in some countries that you can't even breathe without burning yourself. Down in the DR, I hurt so bad and burning my throat because the air is so acidic. You can imagine in China. This is acidic air because the pollution is acidic, of course, and of course that burns. Let me see here. For example, now even if I try cooked sweet potato for my 10% cooked or a spoonful of rice or quinoa, it does not feel good. Gotcha. 100% gotcha. And the same problem with the fruit coming back down to the vegetables. Because when you've been on fruit for a while, you can't eat lettuce anymore. It's like, I got to go through all that. Oh, kale, forget that. Because it's just labor intense and it's an energetic, it takes as much energy to chew and break down lettuce as it gives you back, where fruit just down, boom, bam, bam, here, I'll give you a bunch of energy. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I got a lot of stories I've never even shared with you, but trying to find a balance for myself because I'm too out of body. On the fruits, my body hurt a lot. It took a while, and then when I went into my health food stores trying to help people, I started eating out of them. Back then, there wasn't enough raw foodist. Matter of fact, there wasn't any around. So I met one guy on the beach, raw foodist. But it's rare. I mean, it's just rare. So I hadn't anybody supporting my raw food thinking except me and my tenacity and my strength of knowingness about raw is the best. But you pick up nuts and you pick up things in health food stores thinking that they're good, and then you do just the same thing as he. But even on raw, you start mixing too many nuts and proteins, you won't feel good. It's just, again, that chemical balance. And protein is at the low end of that chemical balance, where carbohydrates is the front end and lipids in the middle. The next day I feel depressed and digestion is not great. I know, isn't that funny? Just over a couple little pieces of cooked food. Isn't that funny how that is? You got a big sensitivity, and this is true. Now, on the negative side, maybe, you could work yourself down a little bit and keep working that, get away from the potatoes so much and go. It's sweet though, it should be nice for you, and some vegetables, but yeah. You might have to, I don't know, add more salads in your diet and come down and come down and come down a little bit. But it just shows you how powerful the fruit diet is, don't it? And your body's sensitivity. It don't want to go down to the cooked food. There's no energy there. Remember the loss of energy there. Remember the law of homeostasis. So when you're eating cooked food, you're bringing your energy way down. Well, if you're neurologically weak, you can feel that. Your breathing can get labored, things like that on cooked food and stuff. Yeah, it's in our face when a guy. It's in our face when we get up into these higher levels of health that when we go down to the cooked dead food, it kicks our butt. So you're right on with that. How you change that is the universal question. You can bring yourself down to where you're not so sensitive, and maybe that's your answer. I would do that after I healed everything, just to stay balanced and able to relate and work in this world, because it is so toxic. For others that don't have major responsibilities and things like that, their life is a little more freer and stuff, you can stay for fruits and stuff. The more you have to deal with the workings of the world, it's better to be a little more grounded. But, with that said, it's just the way it is, but it shows you the power of the fruit, the berry, and the melons over the vegetables. It just shows you that. And then when you cook them, it shows you the difference between living foods and their counterpart cooked. It's just majorly different. And when you're down, you can see why the raw is so vital. You can really see that. When someone's on their way out, you want to fill them full of energy and consciousness, and that's what the fruits and the berries do. It's amazing. And it's just how it is. And it's a big learning lesson to the folks on the planet, isn't it? When you guys are proving it, demonstrating it, and showing them. You're not just telling them, you're demonstrating that and you're showing them. Can't ask for better. Love you guys. I'm going to take off now and go to lunch, but then I'll come back. I'm going to start a new video.